Hello, everyone. This is Mark from Newsweed.com. I've got some news for you today, most of which you probably heard already. Unless you don't listen to the news, then you probably hear it here first. There was a huge accident between the Georgia and Florida border with, teens number of cars piled up. We're still waiting to hear if there were any injuries. In other news, Tehran, Iran, at least 5 people have died and dozens others injured after at least 3 earthquakes hit with a preliminary magnitude of more than 6 uh, the province of Hormozgan in southern Iran. 2 of the strongest shocks were registered at magnitude 6.3, but the one that inflicted all the casualties is thought to be an initial magnitude 6.1 quake at a depth of about 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles, wow, below the surface that hit in the early hours of Saturday. The Afghan quake, there is still another one there. If another quake doesn't kill us, the poverty might, is what people are saying in Afghanistan. In Peru, months after their huge earthquakes, survivors just feel completely abandoned. And there was a earthquake in southern Bosnia. Several were injured and at least one was killed. In Nicaragua, a 6.7 earthquake. What is going on with the world with all these earthquakes? Anyway, back to the earthquake in Tehran. All the victims died in the first earthquake and no one was harmed in the next 2 severe quakes, as people were already outside their homes. At least 30 aftershocks were felt in villages and towns near Bandar Abbas, local officials said, adding that tremors were also felt in the neighboring United Arab Emirates, which is very close. The quake sent thousands of people into the streets, where they spent the rest of the night. Imagine if an earthquake hit Dubai. The huge buildings there and what they're built on, God knows what could happen. Let's move on. In Harare, Zimbabwe is set to introduce gold coins that will enable investors to store value within country as inflation spirals out of control and the local currency continues to rapidly devalue against major currencies. Politicians out there, you still want to close down the world economy for a virus? You stupid idiots. The move comes after inflation for June jumped to 191% from 132% in May. Think about that for buying a sandwich. In a statement on Monday, the Southern African country's central bank chief John Mangoida announced that the new gold coins would be available through normal banking institutions. It really doesn't make sense to do this with the gold. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe's Monetary Policy Committee resolved to introduce gold coins into the market as an instrument that will enable investors to store value. The gold coins will be minted by Fidelity Gold Refineries Limited and will be sold to the public through normal banking channels. Do you realize how stupid that is? You got to dig up the earth, get at the gold, mine it, turn it into a coin. Why wouldn't they use crypto? It's so stupid. Anyway, the central bank's Monetary Policy Committee expressed great concern on the recent rise in inflation, which increased by 30.7% on a month-on-month basis for June 2022. Authorities are struggling to pull Zimbabwe from the grips of an economic crisis characterized by high inflation, a rapidly devaluing local currency, 90% unemployment, and declining manufacturing output. And our economy wants to increase unemployment. I think we better stop having more A students work in the government. I think we should immediately fire A students because A does not mean getting things done. All right, let's go over to Syria. Idlib, Syria. A man, age 46, fled Kafir Nabal in southern Idlib province in 2019 as government forces captured opposition held areas in Syria. He left behind a house he built a few years earlier and now lives in a displacement camp near the Turkish border, where he works. Ahmad's life has been hard, but it's even harder now that he finds out that they actually stole his roof. Now, I've tried to look into what they stole on the roof. Did they steal the tile? What did they steal? Was it made of metal? Probably was made of metal, and they were cashing it in. Very common during hard times that people go around scrapping. A Sanford and Son story. I discovered my roof was stolen, he mentioned, still in disbelief, after hearing from friends and residents that the Syrian government forces had looted abandoned homes. Hamoud had been looking at Google Maps on his phone to view his own neighborhood and found out it's true, his roof was gone. Looks like they're going to need some roofers there. I may go to Syria. All right, let's go over to Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is launching a redominated currency, again, inflation and so forth, knocking 3 zeros off banknotes but keeping their value unchanged, its central bank has said. Financial transactions with the West African country have been suspended since Wednesday in preparation for the recalibration of Leone currency. Central Governor Kefala Morano Kalan told Reuters. Look, folks, if you don't think that crypto is going to be used, you're wrong. All these currencies from different countries, all having different values based on the dollar and what it can buy, we're going to end up having a digital currency. This is just a stepping stone. All right, here's some sad news out of Michigan. Did you ever see a jet fly? Well, they made a car that's a jet car to try to keep up with the jets, right? So it goes down a strip as the jets pass. It's supposed to keep up. Well, that jet car or jet truck is like a pyrotechnic portion of most air shows, so that people can see this amazing thing in a car. Well, unfortunately, the person that was driving that car has died because the car basically blew up and had an accident. This was today in Michigan, Battle Creek, Michigan. The truck driver of a Shockwave jet truck at the Battle Creek Air Show. Here's some crazy news that will make all of you shiver. Uber reports 141 rapes and nearly 1,000 sex assaults in 2020 as ridership declines. Rideshare company Uber said it saw 141 reports of rape, 998 reports of sexual assaults overall in 2020. A drop in incidents as ridership also fell during the pandemic. The company had 3,824 total reports of sexual assault between 2019 and 2020, compared with 5,981 reports from 2017 to 2018. It said in a newly released safety report. The company's second ever safety report says that rides on the app decreased by as much as 80% during the beginning of COVID-19 pandemic, which may have a significant impact in the 38% decrease. Actually, if you have an 80% drop, and it only goes down 30%, to me, these attacks have increased. Let's see. Uber also noted that it introduced new safety features in 2017 and 18 report, including allowing riders to text 911 within the app, giving drivers more safety training, and creating the Uber Survivor Resources Hotline and Fund. The report also says that 99% Uber trips ended without any safety-related issue at all, but that even just one critical safety incident is one too many. The company divided incidents of sexual assault and rape into 5 categories. Non-consensual sexual penetration, kissing of a sexual body part, touching of a sexual body part, attempted non-consensual sexual penetration, and non-consensual kissing on a non-sexual body part. The report says, some of the findings from the report include riders were the accused party in 43% of the incidents of rape or sexual assault, similar to 45% of incidents in 2017. Report drivers were the accused party. Drivers were the accused party in 56% of incidents among the 5 categories. Women were 81% of the survivors of rape incidents tied to Uber, while men made up 15% of those survivors in 4% of incidents. The gender of the survivor was unknown. Uber works with law enforcement, but not all survivors chose to report incidents of rape or sexual assault to the police. The 78-page report adds that the company approaches safety in numerous ways and that the app has removed more than 80,000 drivers from the service due to continuous checks of criminal and motor vehicle records. Wow. Now check this story out of Colorado. A Colorado hiker who was walking with their dog encountered a defensive cow moose that charged at her, prompting wildlife officials to warn hikers to be wary of the animals. The incident occurred on June 30th at Craggs Trail in Teller County, according to a news release from Colorado Parks and Wildlife. The woman told wildlife officials that she encountered the moose about 45 minutes up the trail. The woman said her dog was running off leash when the moose charged from the brush and began chasing it. The moose was with her calf at the time, the release said. The hiker yelled at the moose and the animal turned and charged at her. She told wildlife officials she tried to run from the animal but fell and broke her arm, the release said. The moose and calf eventually wandered away and the woman and her dog were able to get back to their car. Wildlife officials said the incident is a good reminder to be cautious of moose and other animals on the trail. Well, as a matter of fact, in Yellowstone, I believe, in Montana, you had the bison attack, and then you had a grizzly bear attack a seasoned outdoorsman. The animals are wild. Guess what? They're wild. So you can't mess with them. We were on a trail a couple weeks ago, and there was a bear. So what do? You avoid the bear, especially if she's with her cubs. Otherwise, you're going to be bear soup. All right, let's go to Poland. This is serious stuff, okay? This revolves around Auschwitz. The Polish government wants formal rules to regulate the terms under which Israeli school children pay Holocaust study visits to the country, including on the presence of armed Israeli guards. An official in Warsaw said Monday. That's a bad move, Poland. You guys fucked up, okay? Number one, these concentration camps ended up being somewhat supported by Poland, and now you think that nobody wants to kill a Jew? Oh, there are people that want to kill Jews. And if those kids have to go to Auschwitz and they have to walk through that area, I was at Auschwitz and I saw a swastika at the bus stop. So I would say that Israel cannot back down with that. And they should have every right to have armed guards with those kids. Oy, what a world. Including on the president, blah, blah, blah. So the Polish don't want any armed guards there. More news from Poland. Poland's conservative ruling party leader pushed back Sunday against what he described as Western views on LGBTQ rights. Janusz, the head of Law and Justice Party, described the theoretical situation in which a person named Vladislav, which is traditionally a male name, comes to work asking to be called Zosia, a traditionally female name. And according to what we are recommended from the West, that everyone should obey it. Kaczynski said in a rally in Grudziądz, a city in northern Poland, "We do not intend to look into anyone's bedroom, but at the same time, we want to maintain normality." His party has in recent years used anti-LGBTQ rhetoric ahead of elections. Kaczynski is preparing to lead the party into elections next year. Okay, so we got some controversial stuff going on here. Over here in DeSantis land in Florida, we have people commenting that basically you shouldn't be talking to young kids about sex and gender and so forth. I think it's something serious, but I don't know if I'm with Poland or not with Poland, but I would say there's some issues here, and we should look at them on both sides of the picture. We should treat everybody with respect, but people have to stop forcing things on the population just so they feel better, and stop being angry about it too. Anyway, remember, folks, it's never as it seems. I'm not perfect on my viewpoints. I'm just kind of giving you the news that I've picked up on, and hopefully everybody learns something. Have a great weekend. Happy 4th of July. I'll talk to you tomorrow.